morning everyone.
Good morning.
I am Egya Gaire, the Sergeant at Arms for today's session. And I would like to welcome all of you to the 16th meeting of SICASA Speakers Forum, West Coast Road. I am also taking up the role of grammarian today, and as such, I thought it appropriate to take upon the responsibility of determining the theme and the word of the day on myself, and I communicated the same to our President. The theme of the day, pushing the envelope, is an idiom which means to go beyond the limits, beyond what is possible. It was originally used in the form of pushing the edge of an envelope, which was a lingo used by test pilots for their aircrafts to go beyond the technical specification and feasibility of the craft. However, over the years, the term has evolved and is used metaphorically to express a situation where somebody is going beyond his limit, or when somebody is doing something new in any field of activity. We all have got our own portfolio of strengths and weaknesses, which gives us exposure to various opportunities and threats. We all have limited time and limited resources. As an individual, we should try to add on to our strengths. We should always try to improve our strength, but that is a long-term evolutionary process. The theme, pushing the envelope, suggests an immediate action. The action where you can improve your existing strength, where you can overcome your existing weaknesses so that you can eliminate the threat and bring out new opportunities for yourself. Pushing the envelopes means doing whatever you can with the present yourself. Going to the edge, going to the limit, and bringing out the true of yourself. Once you are able to do this, once you truly are able to push your limits, give that extra effort onto the work you have undertaken, you can definitely outperform the competition. Thank you all. Now, I would like to welcome our President of the Forum, Mr. Sagar Bassel. He is a person who came all the way from Nepal to pursue his BBS, Bachelor in Business Management, under the scholarship of Indian Embassy. He has completed his BBM and currently pursuing his articleship. A man with dedication. Let us welcome Mr. Sagar Bassel for his presidential address.
Everything is possible. The impossible takes a bit longer. Good morning and welcome to the 16th meeting of SICASA Speakers Forum.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is my immense pleasure to welcome the person who is supporting us and helping us to grow our communication skills, and who is always available for us to help us to show the path of communication skills and leadership development. The chief guest and general evaluator for the day, Mr. Ramlal. Let us welcome Mr. Ramlal. Dear friends, pushing the envelope, as the theme goes, pushing the envelope is not an easy task. When I was 8 years old, my brother told me, Sagar, you can do this. Don't think much, I just jump. And I was scared. At that time, we were sitting on the edge, on a small cliff, which is on the edge of the river. And in front of us, there was a big, blue and deep river. And I was so much scared. And in our childhood, we have heard that some of the children from our village were drowned there. And because of that, and not only that, two rivers were mixed in that place. So that was much deeper because of that mixing of two rivers. And because of that story, we were thinking that there is some ghost inside that river, and if we swim over there, it will pull you inside. So, but that day my brother was forcing me, and suddenly he pushed me into the river, and I just got drawn for some time, and then using my both hands and both legs, I somehow managed to come out. Till that time I only used to swim on the edge of the river till my knee level, up to my knee. But that day he has pushed me into the river, and I somehow was able to come out. And without seeing anywhere, I started swimming. I tried to swim, and it was after a long time. The flow of the river was like horizontal, and if I have to cross the river, I should change my direction to vertical. But I was without seeing direction, I just went horizontally, and the edge was not coming. I was very much worried, and somehow my direction changed into diagonal shape, and I reached the edge finally. And my brother was also behind me, and I said, "Thank God you saved me today." And my brother told, "What you are telling? Today you have swum faster than I have ever swum. you have pushed your envelope. You have outrun yourself." And I was very tired, and that was the push given by my brother to learn swimming. And from after that day, I feel comfortable swimming anywhere. And now I don't mind in swimming in sea also. Okay. So that to push the envelope and to outrun ourselves, some kind of push is required. Even in the life story of eagle, if you have heard the life story of eagle, the mother eagle, she builds her nest on very high mountain, on the top of the tree, on high region. And when the new bird comes out from the egg, it is their first time, and mother also she don't know whether they are fully strong enough or they are matured enough to fly or not. And they may be handicapped or something. But that is the duty of mother, to push her, to push the small eagles. And that strong decision is taken by the mother eagle, and she pushes the eagle, and they have to fly. So in our life also we have to find something push factor and try the thing which we have not done earlier, and which we can increase our limit. There is always space to increase our limit, and we can do that if we want. The only limit in our life is the limit which is set by ourselves. Telling this, now I'd like to call the person who is very responsible and dedicated, from arranging birthday parties in the room to finalizing accounts in his office, Mr. C.C. Rizal, Secretary of our SICASA Speakers Forum. Let us welcome him with spirit of the.
Thank you, Sagar. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Minutes of meeting, 15th meeting, 11 June 2017. Meeting started at 8:02 a.m. Mr. Yege started the session welcoming every member. He spoke on the theme of the day, beautifully relating with the story. Mr. Sagar started his speech with a short story from his own village. He spoke on the theme of the day and introduced General Evaluator wonderfully. He gave his best wishes to Manoj, who won first rank on branch level education and to give best in the Chennai. Mr. Suman, Mr. Pawan and Mr. Jagdish presented their speeches. Mr. Suman and Pawan spoke on Project 2, whereas Mr. Jagdish spoke on Project 1. The speaker did their best to present speeches effectively. Mr. Tony handled the butterfly session beautifully. All members got equal opportunity to participate. C.S. Siddhasar was general evaluator, and he evaluated the entire session. All speakers were evaluated on detail without any criticism. He also advised not to rush on stage and how to present good speeches. Meeting ended at 11:40 a.m. So we have now the fan of Arsenal, spiritual person and a good safe who believes in happiness. MC for today's session, Mr. Vasudev.
Thank you, Mr. CC. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is courage to continue that counts, said by Winston Churchill. The same goes to our journey to CA profession, and the same goes to people who are attending this very 16th meeting of SICASA Speakers Forum. I, Pastor Shrestha, heartily welcome you again. And it's an immense pleasure to be part of SICASA Speakers Forum, and with so much experienced chief guest, Mr. Namlal sir. And also it's an immense pleasure to be with these people who are continuously giving their best effort from the very first time of Speakers Forum. Now, and also our friend from Speakers Forum has attended a meeting in Chennai who participated in election contest. So we are slowly developing, improving ourselves. I also like to welcome new members to the Speakers Forum. Okay, now I would like to call up listener of the 16th meeting upon the stage to define her role. Listener.
Person. Your listener. A grammar. Last. You are the listener.
Please welcome Malastri for her listener role.
Happy morning, guys.
Happy morning.
Okay.
Malasri, she is the listener for the day, and her role is to take the questions from the speech of prepared speeches and from all over the session. So she will note down that questions and ask you at the end. And the purpose is how is your speaking listening capacity. She will test that. She is the listener for the day. Let us.
Thank you, Malastri. Now I would like to call upon the stage Ms. Barsa to define her role as a timer.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
I'm the timekeeper. My role is the timekeeper for the day. The total time for the prepared speech is 7 minutes. 5 minutes on the completion of 5 minutes, I'll show you the green card, and on 6th minute I'll show you the yellow card, and on the red card is for the 7th minute where you need to stop your speech. So for all prepared speech, the total time should be taken. The maximum should be 7, and the minimum time should be taken is 5 minutes. And for the butterfly session, the total minutes to be taken is 2. On the completion of 1 minute, I'll show you the green card, 1.5 minute yellow card, and the final 2 minutes. On the completion of 2 minutes, I'll show you the red card. So you need to speak accordingly and be aware of your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Prasad. Now I would like to call upon stage Mr. Yagya Gaire for defining his role.
Good morning all. I am acting as the grammarian for today's session. So as a grammarian, I will be noting down some good uses of vocabulary as well as various phrases and idioms which are used by the speaker. I will also take note of the people who will be using the theme as well as the word for today's session. As a speaker, you are always advised to make use of the word of the day, which is outperform for today. So in your speech, so that gives you that helps develop your articulation skills, and it gives you out the spontaneity that you can bring out in your speech. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yagya. Now, without further ado, we are going to start prepare speech for the day. And for the first time, I'm going to call Mr. Jagdish, who is very hardworking, very energetic, and he has completed his IPCR first, group at first, in one attempt. and he likes playing cricket and running. And he's also nominated as SICASA Sport Coordinator. Let us welcome Mr. Jagdish for second.
Thank you, Bhaskar, for wonderful introduction. Good morning, friends. I'm Jagdish, and he introduced everything about me, so I will directly enter the topic. Today's topic is RFID. Before I enter into that RFID topic, let's just keep suspense. What is RFID? I'll just take it to my practical experience. When I'm in Hilton, that is 5-star hotel that came from England to India, one of the famous 5-star hotel. So my first time articleship was there only. When I went there, I asked what is the work. They just gave me some stickers, put it to the assets. What? I'm an article, I'm not clerk. They said, no, the project you are doing is worth of 40 lakhs. So what? I will not put these stickers. Then he says, Jagdish, these are not stickers, these are RFID tags. So what? I am not going to put. That's it. He says, no, Jagdish, come, I will explain you what is RFID. RFID means a technology, radio frequency identification. The tags what you are processing is passive tags. So there are two types of tags he has explained, active tags and passive tags. Before we go into that, let's see how it works. The tag will be either have battery or doesn't have battery. Once it comes to antenna, it will give one signal. So the tag will have a unique code, that is electronic code. If you are registered, they will give some starting code. Based on that you can extend the code. It will be like 20 digits, 30 digits. That code will go to the antenna and the antenna will read it and it will say what is the asset. Not to make it complex, we'll just go to the shop first. Everyone into some shop purchasing class. While purchasing, they might have observed one tag attached to it. What is the tag means? If you take it outside, alarm will ring, saying that without paying the bill, they are going out. But once you pay the bill, they will just remove the tag. The tag is nothing but RFID. Let's take another example. Everyone are going through metro only. They will be having one card. Once you place the card, it will detect from where you enter, from where you are existing, how much to charge. And the card, based on the card number, it is RFID only, because the mission what they placed is radio frequency generator. It will generate low frequency signals because it just needs to cover only 1 feet height so that the card will be readed. Even though if you place it in purse and you keep it the purse also, it will accept because it's just generating radio frequency so that it can recollect the card. It works on the principle that the card will not have any battery or energy. It is not an electromagnetic tape also. If it is electromagnetic tape, like ATM card, we can swipe it, but it's not an electromagnetic tape. It is just RFID. One chip will be there, like small chip, like a panda, small one silicon chip. So once you keep on it, the machine is there, right? That generates electromagnetic waves. As soon as the card receives that electromagnetic waves, it just receives some energy like that. Okay, it says I'm the one. So the code will go to the machine and it says this is the code. Then the computer will start searching the code. Where did he enter? Then it says Majestic he entered. So it's getting registered in Indranagar. So how much is the fare? It will be decided accordingly in the metro. This is the overall view of RFID. So we have just understood for RFID there should be one tag and the other side antenna for reading. If both are done, then it goes to the server and check what it is. Okay, based on this principle, now I have to put tags. I understood the concept, sir, but why should I do it? Jagdish, in your articleship, you can do statutory audits, internal audits, everything. But once it comes to your practical life, the most of the opportunities you get is fixed assets management at the starting. And even every multinational company every year purchases like 50 crores, 100 crores of assets. There should be a proper control. And he asked, do you know which one has the control of fixed assets? I just said, in Companies Act there is a CARO, in CARO there is a class for fixed assets. It says proper maintenance of assets and control over assets. I just said this only, and he said, you know everything, then why you are not doing? But putting tax to assets, I will not do that, sir. That's not worth of my work. If you want control, I can make sure. I just want to check the control how it is. Then he said fine. Then he gave me 2 clerks and we just went. They just started putting tax chairs and everything. And I asked him, why would you choose this? At the starting I told the name of the hotel, Hilton Hotels, 5-star hotels, right? Each and every asset they purchase is around 1 lakh. They said, okay, what is the cost of kettle? A kettle is the one that used to hot the milk or boil the water something. So he said 21,000. I just opened Amazon and said, seeing around it is only 2,000 and you are saying 21,000. How can I believe? He says, no, like this is 5-star hotel. We'll purchase only luxury items. Fine. I just opened the fixed assets. What is the total value? It is around 100 crores. I said, did you include a building cost? No, this is only fixed assets. So then I thought, yeah, there should be a proper control. And the problem is, if any asset goes out of the building, it will be charged to employees. There is a major problem. If you charge one asset, then the employee's salary for 2 months is gone. There is the second concern. Then I just felt pity. So I said, okay, I will not put the tax, but I will take the leadership of it. I will make sure everything will be there. Then they provide 2 more people to me. So we just started tagging. So we just put it every asset, there will be one tag. If it is cloth, the tag will be like a plastic sticker. Maybe you can think like a red card. So we just put it and said, we just put the tags. So are you sure whether it is going to work or not? Now let's run practical trials. I can use the board.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not good at drawing. First they are drawing. So if it's the building, this is the main entrance for guests and this is the backside entrance for employees. Because it's a 5-star hotel, we will never allow employees to enter in the first. So that will make nonsense. So we just kept one antenna here, 2 antennas, like entrance. And here also one antenna. So entrance and exit we kept antennas. Inside we have tags. Whatever the assets have, they have tags. So then once the asset goes out, here the antennas will read the code. Okay. Once the antenna reads the code, there will be a computer server located, which will be outside the hotel. Because we need to control outside the hotel or inside the hotel, we can place anywhere. We will just send one mail to the computer saying this is asset is going out. We will just ask whether you have the confirmation or not. Sometimes we will take the asset for repair purpose. That time also it should not raise alarm. So we will just say we have the control of it, just allow it. Then it will allow. Or else it will just block it. And if it's customer, we have to go and ask in polite way. If it is employee, you can ask in a commanding way. I'll just conclude in 1 minute. And okay, like this it works. And there are 2 types of tags, active and passive. Active, this will be used for locating people also. And this is used in US militaries. Like this will be like seed. We can take rice seed. The size of rice seed is the tag, and they will keep it in each and every military person and the prisoners, so that they can keep track of it. And this is the one of the emerging technology. And before I close, I got into one practical scenario here that I can't do anything. Is that there is a collector coming from a famous place in Karnataka. I don't want to disclose the name. And he used to come every week to the hotel with his wife. So because he is collector, they started providing in a silver plate. And what they observed is some spoons are missing after the lunch. First time okay, second time 2 spoons missing, no problem. Third time the waiter kept observation. Yeah, that time also there were no tax. So he said, they will not see the customers, they have to leave the once they serve. And 4th time we kept tax, right? So while the collector wife is going out, alarm is silent. Man, could you please stop? He said, what happened? No, there are some items which belongs to the hotel. She said, no, there is nothing. But unfortunately we noticed that in her handbag there are 4 spoons. We realized that whatever the position, if your character doesn't change, it doesn't make any worth. So after that, the collector, once they enter, the employees will look different. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jagdish. What a beautiful speech. First of all, when I heard the topic RFID technology, what the hell it is? I didn't know anything about that. But after that speech, I came to realize that we are using this technology day by day while traveling in metro, while purchasing from Mars and all. But we never knew what the technology was. Now I'm quite clear with it. Thank you, Jagdish, for beautiful speech. Likewise, I would like to call upon the stage our next speaker, who is all the way from far western Nepal, Mahendra Nagar, and is CA final student working at AK Bhandari and Associates. And his hobby is to travel. Let me welcome Mr. Kapil Bhatt for his first speech, Icebreaker.
Thank Thank you, Vasudev. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
This is Kapil standing right in front of you all guys to deliver a short prepared speech on about myself. As last week, I discussed with our president and vice president of our forum what should be my content and what am I supposed to speak. And they told, as this is your first project, then you have to stick to yourself itself. So I will try to adhere with the rules and regulations of the forum. So I will speak about myself. Once again, my name is Kapil and I am from the far western region of Nepal, which is directly connected to India, the state called Uttarakhand. And it hardly takes 10 to 15 minutes to reach India from my home, and we are frequently visiting to India for any purposes like shopping and all. And if someone is going to India, they will tell I am going to foreign. And if they will say why, to buy vegetables or something. So mostly they are visiting. It's like the market for us. And talking about my hobbies, I like traveling to different places. As I don't get the chance because in my office there is no outstation audit also. So mostly people like to visit different places through others' money. Right? They don't want to spend there. So. And about my family background, my father is a teacher and my mother is a housewife. I have two sisters who are already married. I am the only person who is waiting to get married. And I did my schooling from my hometown itself, that was 10th. When I completed my 10th, after my results came, I got the good percentage. It was like 84%. It is not as good as here, because here I have seen people are getting 95, 96% also. But there it was good. And when I got the results, my father told me, now what? Now what you will study? Then I said I want commerce field. I will go in chartered accountancy or BBA, something like that. He told, no, you are a good student and you have scored good percentage also. So you can go for science, because if you will do science now, you will have so many options available after you complete your 12th. Engineering also there are so many streams like civil engineering, software engineering, very many options are available. Then I said, no, I can't do it, Dad. I don't understand physics, chemistry, and I want to do commerce itself because I love to do accounting, taxation and all. Then he told, no, you have to do this only. He started little insisting me, but later I told, okay, I will do it, but just remember one thing, what happened with my cousin. My cousin brother was there. He also didn't want to do science, but his father, my uncle, forced him to do this. And when he joined science, he failed. He failed badly. He lost his 2 years because he couldn't pass 11th also, 12th also. Then when he heard that, then okay, whatever you want to do, you can do. Later I went to Kathmandu for my further studies, 11th, 12th, and I did my commerce from Kathmandu. And when I cleared my 12th, then again there was like what to do now. Then in BBA also we have to study, and in CA also we have to study. And my father told, like, in both you have to do little efforts. If you will do CA, you will have to do little more effort and you will get the good results. So I thought, yeah, that is also a good option, so I will do CA. Later when I started my CPT, actually we can do Indian CA in Nepal also. We have option available. Like you must have seen in your admit cards, like in Kathmandu center there is central exams are also held, and coaching centers are also there where we can go for coaching. And I did my CPT from Kathmandu, and later I came to Delhi because after CPT I don't think it is good to stay there for IPCC because there are not that experienced teachers like in India. So I came to Delhi for my IPCC. And I stayed there for almost 1.5 years, but I didn't like Delhi at all, comparing to Bangalore. In any criteria, like you can say in climate, people there, very aggressive people, every time they will be like, they won't talk properly also. So anybody will be from Delhi, I don't think.
My roots connected over there, so you kind of thing, but it's okay.
Okay, yeah. And so then I completed my IPCs from Delhi and I came to Bangalore for my internship. And since 3.5 years I haven't gone back to my home when I came here. So I have written my final exams this May 17, sorry, and I am waiting for the results. And after results, I will be visiting my home after so long time. And I would like to thank Mr. Yagya, who specially called me here, and so I am able to give my performance, and I'm trying to improve my communication skills, which is not better, I think. And so I would like to thank everyone here, because in this Sunday morning you all guys did this much efforts to be here at 8 o'clock. Then also you were put to listen to me. That was little. And thank you all. That's it.
Thank you much. It's good to hear about you, how you choose your subject of your interest, and best of luck for your upcoming results of final. And also best wishes for getting married after that. Like I mentioned earlier, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's courage to continue what counts. So it really takes courage to continue in SICASA Speakers Forum. I want to call upon stage Ms. Jaya Kumari, who had that courage to continue and is still with us for a long time, to speak about second speech.
No, first speech.
First speech. Welcome, Mrs.
Hello everyone. Have you ever seen God?
No.
I have seen them in my home only.
Yes.
They are my parents. They named me Jaya. My full name is Jaya Kumari Gadaiya, which is a very big name and often mispronounced as Sai Anupriya's name and Madhukesh's name. Like Sai Anupriya, even I used to fight with my mom. She used to fight with her father. I used to fight with my mother. That why you gave me such a long name. You can put it something else. You can give me Jaya Jain or something like that. Why you gave me that so big? And because it's like I am from Jaipur, and the Gadaiya, generally people call it you Gada Gada something. So I used to literally hate my name. I remember first person who took correctly my name was my friend, like Vandana. She was the one, and recently we completed 11 or 12 years of our friendship. So before that, no one, I feel like, at least in my school or my students' life, who took my name correctly. Well, generally my brother calls me Jwala instead of because of my temperamental nature. Jwala means ablazement of fire. So this is about my name. I am eldest child in my family. My parents are working, so I need to be responsible and mature. I don't know when I became mature and handle my things independently. I have one younger sister and one younger brother. When I was 3 years old, suddenly an earthquake came in my life, and that earthquake was my sister. If I talk about my childhood, I was a reserved and shy girl who never used to talk, and my teachers have only one complaint from which she used to tell my mother, that your daughter don't speak at all. And for my sister it was just reverse. They used to tell that she don't speak only, she don't stop only once she starts. So this was brief about my family. My hobbies are like cooking, that is experimenting in kitchen, not that regularly going to kitchen and cook the food. Traveling, I love to explore new places, reading books and novels. watching documentaries and short films with good messages. I would like to share one incident from my childhood which tells how I started experimenting in kitchen. One day my mom was, I don't know, actually I don't remember much about this. I have faded memories as I was 5 or 6 years old, that much only. So my mom kept some pomegranate peels after giving us pomegranate seeds. She kept it in plastic plate. What I thought was experimenting in kitchen. I went in the kitchen. As I could not reach to the slab, so I put a stool there. I lit the gas stove and using lighter, I put that plastic plate over the gas, and I guess you know what would have happened. The plate was made of plastic, so it started melting down, and all the gas, like it was in white in color, so it white liquid was around that burner. I don't remember much, but I think my mom came because of that burning smell, and she scolded me off, obviously. This was the one how I like. Now I would like to share how I came to Bangalore. It's a long story. After completing my graduation, I was giving responsibility to for my younger sister's admission here. She wants to be a software engineer. She gave various entrance examinations. One of them was Comet K. First I was told to go to Delhi, Noida. She has some interview there in Symbiosis College. She gave that. But she wanted to come to Bangalore. She has burning desire to come here. So she came here, and I have center in she has counseling center in Jayanagar NMTRE College, where I went. I thought it's like normal, every girl will be, there will be many girls who will be coming for their sister's admission. But after going there, I realized that I was the only one girl there. People used to look me like, they have weird reactions while traveling, when I met people. While going there, I met people. This was the first time when I came Bangalore. I stayed for 15 days here. I have no idea about the language, no idea about the people, no idea about the places here. And at least after that I came after 1 year for my brother's admission, who also took admission here. And after his admissions, I came for 2 months, stayed here, then again went back to Jaipur. Then again I came back, and at last I would like to, after that I came in January 2016. From that time I am here, and I would like to conclude that I am proud to be a woman, I am proud to be a SICASA member, and I am proud to be an Indian. And some lines which I would like to say is like, probably related to the theme from the Pink movie. तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल, समय को भी तेरे वजूद की तलाश है. Which means stand, you should not be disappointed. Time is also looking for your existence, and something like. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Jaya Kumari. She has really outperformed herself. And from a shy girl in her house, your mother will never say that you are shy and you don't talk. Don't worry about that. Now we have few new friends over here, so we also have something for them. Are you ready? New members. Okay, I would like to call upon stage Mr. C.C. Rizal. The table topic, he's going to conduct table topic and you'll define what is table topic and he'll ask some few interesting questions.
Thank you, Vasudhan. The butterfly session. I'm here to create a butterfly in your stomach. I'll ask you a question. You have to come up on the stage. You have to speak for from 1 to 2 minutes, depending on you. You can speak anything, means relating with the questions, preparing your speech. You can speak on for 1 to 2 minutes. So new members are here. I'll start with the existing member so that they can create an idea how to speak. Register, please. Thank you. Chicken biryani or mutton biryani? Mr. Suman Tiwari.
Anyway, we are in Sunday. This is holiday. We used to celebrate during daytime. Every friend used to be in home, and there used to be always questions. What we gonna have today new? Then one will tell fish. One will start with mutton biryani. One will start with chicken. There is no choice for me as such. Whatever available, I accept it. Then coming to the theme of the day, with limit, we shouldn't limit us. What I feel about to try to make choice. If I make one choice, then something choice from either of my friend that might be missing. Then whenever this, not only to the food items which we have usually, but relating to the life, to this choice, there will always be choice and there will always be some specific time to perform the things. If we don't do in this particular time, then it will escape for lifelong. Today itself I was not about to come, thanks my friend Gangari and some of other friends. They assist me, they wake me up to come here. That's what I think. Never let us to be limit for something. Let's keep some margin for something, and within margin we have to close it off. After margin, after clearing the things, that margin time which we have, that time we can utilize for the same thing in the professional way, in the developing way. By the way, that limit which we are telling that we can cross easily. Then there will not be the situation where we should lack on. That's all about it. Thank you, Ambassador, for all those.
Child is the father of man. What do you think, Mr. A.K. Gai?
Thank you, Mr. Sisir. A wonderful topic in this. Child is a father of man. It is called a paradox. How many of you here know the meaning of paradox? Paradox is actually my favorite topic. I don't know, being my roommate, actually he knew that, so he gave me this topic purposefully, is what I think. And like, given the time, I can speak hours on the topic of paradox. And my roommate Mr. Sagar and Sisir knows about this thing. So paradox, alternatively also known as the irony, it means that the statement of the situation is true, but at the same time it is very difficult to believe. It's very hard to perceive it as a truth. So child is a father of the man.
coming to the topic given to me, child is the father of the man. Now what do you guys think? Let me have your opinion. Is child the father of a man?
No opinion, you have to tell.
So child, if you see it biologically, it cannot be possible. Child can never be a father of a man. But when you see it in an overall evolutionary process, first there comes a child. That child, he grows up, he develops himself, and after a certain stage he becomes a father. So if you consider it in that sense, then it is definitely, you can say that child is actually a father of a man. Because it is that his childhood which brings him the memories, the experiences, the learning which he has gathered during his childhood, that will take him up to become a father. That will take him up to become a good human as such. Thank you, Cecil.
There is another question which I have specifically marked for another person. So, what are the tasks you would do or perform if you are elected as President of World Bank, Mr. Sagar Bashya?
Thank you, Cecil, for the wonderful topic. As the President of World Bank, the main theme and objective of World Bank is to eliminate poverty from the world and to help developing countries, taking assistance from developed countries. They will collect money from the big corporates houses and developed countries and transfer the fund to for the development of underdeveloped and developing countries. And it spends money on education, poverty, and all those things which are required, which are basic infrastructure to bring a country to a developed one, from underdeveloped to a developed one. So that is the objective of the World Bank, and as a President of World Bank, I will work on those areas and I will help all the underdeveloped countries to lay a basic foundation of infrastructure, education, and to help countries to show the ways of eliminating poverty through various innovative ways of employment opportunities and different things. So that will be my plan. I can tell for a long time about this. So the basic thing is the objective of World Bank. I'll try to, first thing will be trying to eliminate the poverty by various methods. Thank you.
Wonderful talk, Mr. Sagar. Marriage life, bliss or disaster? Sisadri. Marriage life, bliss or disaster?
Good morning. My name is Shesha. Once again, another topic is
disaster.
Marriage life is a disaster. Means what?
Understood.
New topic. What initiative you would like to take to reduce traffic in Bangalore? More complex.
First of all, the vehicle is so much in Bangalore. That is the main problem. When the persons in their home, at least one car or one vehicle. That's their homes. There is 2 cars, 3 or more vehicles. They're got to travel the cities around. Better to they reduce the vehicles. Then they can reduce the traffic. First of all, when Bangalore before 5 years back, the Bangalore is a good environmental, but now there is no environmental presently. What's the reason? Means so many vehicles they're improving, so many vehicles they're purchasing to travel so many improvements. So why they purchasing the vehicles? There is no use at all. By the way, there is buses are there, so we can travel. We can travel there. Then they can control the traffic. Why? Because there is no time, proper time. Buses are not coming to travel. They think like that. So so it can reduce the traffic. So better use vehicles less. So thank you.
We can implement metro faster, so to avoid the traffic also. So employees are not paid for the past 6 months. Give them a motivational speech to make them work more. Mr. Mithun.
Say it loudly.
Loudly.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mithun, the new member of this SICASA Speakers Forum. Today I have the topic: employees are not paid for 6 months, and I have to give them a motivational speech. So let's take a situation. Suppose my company, like the company in which I am working, is in a loss, and we are not able to pay employees for past 6 months. So to give them some motivational speech means like we can allot some shares. We can promise them. I should promise them that I will issue some shares in future if we have profit. So we should motivate in each and everything. Like they should get they should get some guarantee that they'll earn something in future. They'll get something in future. If they work harder now, they'll get something in future. Like employees should also, as an employee, everyone should know that, everyone should understand that it's your duty to improve the company, improve the profit of the company, and it's your duty to get some return to the company. Being an employee, you all have some ethics, like some professional ethics. Everyone should work for their company promptly. The company will give something in return in future. If not now, in future for sure. So, as an employee, it's everyone's duty to work and to think of new ideas to improve the market of the company or anything relating to that. So, I think that's enough for now. Thank you.
Better your employee may not have any kind of union, so that they can go for the strike. Okay, let's take a break for breakfast. We'll resume after 15 minutes. Welcome back. Okay. Next question. As being in marketing, you have to sell a pen. So how would you convince him to buy a pen? Gaurav. Best of luck.
Thank you. Sagar. You know what this is?
What is that?
You don't know?
Yeah, I know.
So this is a pen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here to sell you this pen.
Okay.
This is a very normal pen.
Okay.
But since you don't have a pen right now, it's more easier for me to sell it to you.
Okay.
Okay, because I'm sure you want to write something and you don't want to not make notes and be just a, passerby sitting over here, and you want to be listening and making notes. So would you buy this pen from me?
But I want to write. There is no ink in that.
There's enough ink. There's enough ink. There's all the invisible ink. Okay, not all the time can you see the ink from outside. When you start writing, I'm sure there's ink in this, and then you can write.
Can I check it before buying?
You sure you can check it.
Okay, I'll check it. Yeah, it's writing.
It's writing, right?
So what is the speciality about this pen?
The speciality is nothing, but I'm selling it on need basis.
Okay.
It's your need right now that you need a pen and you don't have a pen.
Okay.
That's why I'm selling it to you.
Okay.
You can always borrow it from me.
I already sold it to him. You're trying to snatch my customer.
He is
Okay,
a very easy customer.
First we are friends.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tell us why you should be chosen as the winner of butterfly session. Soita Jain. Winner of butterfly session. Why? Very good. I'll repeat the question again. Tell us why you should be chosen as the winner of the butterfly session.
Hello everyone, I'm Shweta, and in this butterfly session we have to speak for 2 minutes. For first, after 1 minute there will be a warning that I can complete my speech. So in this 2 minutes we can speak anything on the given topic, whatever the topic he gives you have to speak on that. And then why I should be chosen as the best, the butterfly speaker is because in this given 2 minutes time frame, I can speak on the given topic very nicely. All the things, whatever is required to be covered is presented in a better manner, and it is communicated very well among the people, and they are able to understand it in a better way. So I think it is very essential that everyone understands whatever you communicate in the given time frame. So I think it is, I deserve it.
Your holiday plans for this year, Mahesh.
Good morning to all. Welcome to 16th meeting of SICASA. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mahesh. I am from Andhra, Nellore district. I did my intermediate and CA in Andhra itself. I am doing internship in Balaji Samudrala and Co, Basavanagudi. Today I am here for I am participating in Speakers Forum for improving my communication skills and in developing leadership skills. Then I am going to my topic is
Holiday plans for this year.
This year I would like to go with my friends to different trips. I would like to enjoy with my friends and my family.
Which place?
I would like to go.
Place stuff you want to do.
Temples. Thank you.
Imagine a world as a single country. Will it be a good for humankind? Yogesh.
World as a single country.
Will it be good for humankind?
Hello everyone, I'm Yogesh. It's a difficult topic now. World as one country, which is again not possible because owing to different cultures and how we live into. How we treat womankind, if I see world as one country, it's good, it's not. If you compare India, say with countries like, say Syria, all these things, it's better women here are better enough than other countries here. So, it's good enough that the world is not a country here. But even if we imagine, okay, how the world would be if it's one single country, then
it would be a very difficult place to live in then, I would say. And you can see the number of cultures and number of languages today. Probably even if we imagine there's one single language, one single culture, the diversity what's today, as in we can see, as in our women here, for example, Indian women, they have reached great heights compared to other ones. You can compare people in Pakistan or other places. They have a lot of restrictions there. Okay, so because of this diversity, I feel it creates an artificial competition also. It's good enough for people here. So that's it.
What made you smile this week and why? Surat. What made you smile this week and why?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Surat. Smile is one of the property of our life. Smiling is one of the great things to every human beings. And in my previous days of that week, I'm smiling through one of the organizers we have organized the SICASA Forum. It is a great platform to incorporate all students. Every society, everyone belongs to the society. Society is great things. Every activities and everything which make appreciate our every times of every things to grow our life easy becomes to make easier, and then in the world, human have a great intelligence other than in comparison to the other living beings to be happy in a life as compared to worriness is better things. That's best.
What do you think about when you lie awake in bed, Mahesh? Sorry, Prasad.
Good morning to everyone. And first I am thankful to Mr. Ramana sir who will improve our communication skills.
What do you think about when you lie awake in bed?
When you wake up, what do you think? This is very difficult topic for me because till now I didn't wake up at 6 o'clock. My timing is 9 o'clock. So, but I will try to think because every time I think about to wake up in early. Because whenever I want to wake up in early, that day will start a peaceful mind and peaceful thoughts. Now today, unfortunately, I wake up at 4 o'clock because of I want to attend this speaker. That things I am really very happy to say this because we know that we are lagging something behind that. What is that? I don't know what. I'm thinking every time I'm lagging. What is I'm lagging? I'm good in studies and I'm good at approaches to solve the sums, but I don't know how to communicate that and how to analyze that and how to tell to someone how. But I'm thinking every time lagging. Then I find my friend what told me, just first of all communicate yourself, how to communicate and how to tell to others. And think about. I'm thinking where I can find the resources. And then yesterday I came to seminar, and one of my friends have told. So every Sunday we are connecting that about related to communications and to develop the skills. So I thought I want to come and so everyone knows Sunday is a valuable thing, but I want to know what I am valued. So I started to coming and I will present. I will try to best give my speeches and I will improve myself.
You went for hunting in jungle, suddenly angry bear shows up. How would you escape, Balaji?
Good morning everyone, my name is Balaji.
The question for me is how would I escape from the active way? There will be so many trees will be there in the jungle. Big trees will be there, so I can climb little bit up and I will try to hide. If anyone with me, then I'll try to doing it some magics. In movies will be there, no? So many dress color changes color will be there. So I will change my color to black or like some other thing near to that nature. If something is in green, I will change my dress code into green. So that it cannot see me.
But you can smell me, no?
That's it.
Which color would you like to paint in your house, Komala? And why? Which color would you like to paint in your house and why?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Which color I paint to my home and why? My lovable color is green and white. I like to paint white color and draw something innovative and creative in green. Why white means when you see white, it gives you peacefulness. White is indicated for peace. So I like to paint in white color, so that makes to stay peacefully. Nowadays, being peace is we need to search for the peace. So white, I prefer white to paint, and green. It's green. Green indicates the nature. So I love nature, so I paint green. Nowadays, everyone say that greenery is going to decline, reducing. So green gives energy to eyes. It gives positive energy in yours. So I like to paint green. If I want to add into both colors, I paint blue color and then orange. Why? Because I love my India, so that's why. Thank you.
In your opinion, who will take the thrones in GOT, Game of Thrones? Mr. Basudev, as being fan of Game of Thrones.
Thank you, Rita. So, how many of you have watched Game of Thrones? No. Okay, nobody. So it's a title itself says Game of Thrones. There will be various countries. They will fight for each other. They will betray. They will do whatever they can. There is a quote in Nepali. Sam Dam Dandabhed. It's Sanskrit. Sam Dam Dandabhed. Either be money or power or any other illegal activities. Attend it. So in Game of Thrones also there's the same case. There are different countries, different kind of nature. They have some are rich, some are warriors, some are betrayals. Okay, so in that case, many of you might not know the name of the kings in special their own land characters. You might not be knowing, but there is a character named as Daenerys. She is a mother of dragons. She has 3 dragons and a horde of Dothrak's army, and she was from her history says that she is daughter of she's princess, but somebody overtook their throne. Now she is coming back for revenge. She has dragons and very fierce army, and since she has dragons, she had advantage from the air to fight. So I think she's really very beautiful. Let's not forget that. And I think, and she also has a small dwarf kind of guy. His name is Tyrion. Yeah, Tyrion. He's very intelligent and he's very smart. See, the height is small, but some people are very mastermind in this kind of things. So I think those two will be able to take over the throne of Game of Thrones. That's all. Thank you.
How did you feel about today's meeting, Dipendra?
So this is my first time in SICASA. So I feel great. As we are here to evaluate our, enhance our skills in communication and all. And like, as I am a good listener, but I don't know how to communicate it. So I feel great. Thank you.
Okay, the very last question. If you are the president of SICASA Speaker Forum, how would you motivate the members of the forum? For our general evaluator, Mr. Ramlal sir.
Mr. Butterfly Session Master, fellow speakers and guests, the best way to motivate people is to tell them how important communication is. Unless you know the importance of communication, you will never get motivated in the art of speaking. You know, there's a beautiful saying, the ability to speak is a shortcut to distinction. The ability to speak is a shortcut to distinction. It puts a person in the limelight and raises him or her head and shoulders above the crowd. If that is the truth, what are we doing? What are we doing in the art of communication? We have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of skills, we have a lot of information, but we are not able to communicate. Unless I have the ability to communicate what I know, no one will ever know that I know something. So this is the art that we ought to learn. This is the art that we need to cultivate. This is the art that we need to specialize in. Because the whole world is looking up to you when you stand on the stage. If a leader comes on the stage, what is the audience looking for? How well he can communicate. So this is what is being taught or learnt in this SICASA Speakers Forum, and I urge all of you to take this opportunity and make yourselves the best communicator, because once you communicate effectively, you can feel the transformation in your personality, and that feeling need not be felt by the audience. You yourself can feel it. The day it happens, you will say, this is the day that I conquer the world, and after that, no one can ever stop you from getting on with what you want from life. Mr.
I'll conclude the butterfly session here and back to MC.
Thank you, Mr. Shashi Rizal. It was a very beautiful session. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Feeling a butterfly is different thing. Okay, now we have come to the next phase of our meeting, our forum, and it is evaluation. So you have all presenting here, even prepared speech or be it table topic, butterfly session, all of us are this forum. So right now he just left giving a motivational speech, but we still want to hear more from him. Let us welcome Mr. Ramlal sir on the stage for evaluation.
Paul Buxton said, the longer I live, the more deeply am I convinced that that which makes the difference between one man and another, between the weak and the powerful, between the great and the insignificant, is energy. Invincible determination, a purpose once formed, and then death or victory. Remember, friends, we witnessed one of the finest sessions this morning. Every time I attend a SICASA Speakers Forum meeting, I learn a lot of things. I take back home a lot of messages. And that is what all of us can do when you attend these sessions on a regular basis. Imagine if today's presentation, I think every one of you spoke wonderfully well. The ultimate purpose of this forum is to see that you shed your inhibitions and fears related to communication. And that happens only when you speak on a regular basis. Today's meeting was really outstanding because I heard those prepared speeches. I was really floored. Imagine if these speeches and if this meeting were presented on a higher level of energy. it would have been one of the finest meetings you would have ever attended. Because everyone spoke so beautifully. One thing that was missing in the entire session was energy, the levels of energy. Whatever you said, if you had said with a lot of conviction and power, it would have made a greater impact on the minds of the audiences. Whatever you said did make a great impact, but it would have embedded on the minds, subconscious minds of the people who are sitting here, if you had said the same thing with a lot of energy. So that means, it doesn't mean that you are not speaking well. It means that you are speaking well, but you do not know how to speak well, right? So incorporate the same things that you said and say it with a lot of power, say it with a lot of conviction, say it with a lot of authority. When you are on the stage, you are the master of the stage. Remember that, right? Today's meeting, started a little late, 8:10, but I suggest that as professionals, we're going to see a professionals, right? As a professional, we ought to see that we are here on time and start the meeting on time, right? Because that talks a lot about our personalities. Time is the key, the essence to anyone's progress. Because all of us have the same time, but it is the successful people who use time to the optimum level. All of us have 24 hours a day. Nobody has anything extra, nothing less. Perhaps it's the only thing in the world that is given to each one of us in equal proportions. All other things may be different. Someone may be handsome, someone may not be handsome, someone may be beautiful, someone may have a lot of riches, someone may be poor. But one thing which cannot be taken off from you is the 24 hours. And so that is why time is very essential. We start on time, we close on time, so that we show some kind of professionalism, right? I would like to reiterate that whenever I am here as an evaluator, so that it gets imprinted on your subconscious mind. Not that you're doing a great job, you're doing splendidly well as far as this entire conduct of the meeting is concerned. But then please incorporate time as well, so that it appears professional to people who observe, people who come as newcomers on that particular thing. I think Yagya Gair started off wonderfully well. He talked about today's theme, pushing the envelope, very beautifully, enunciated with all that, talking about, it's an idiomatic expression which is never used on a regular basis, pushing to the, level, it is pushing yourself beyond your limits. That's what he explained to us. I think every time we get a new theme like this, we should break it down to simpler terms which the audience understands. I think he did a great job in saying that we have to push ourselves beyond our present limits. We have to walk the extra mile if we really want to succeed in life. And that is exactly, and he did it beautifully well. He started off with the inspiring methods that he talked about. Then the weaknesses, he said, try to improve on your weakness, work on your weaknesses and build on your strengths. In fact, that is the purpose we are all here for. Every speaker's forum meeting should make us better human beings, and that happens when we work on our strengths. All of us have some kind of strengths, all of us have some kind of talents. So it is progress in those areas that we have to look for, and whatever weaknesses are there, we may not be able to get over them, but at least we have to bridge them. No one should ever notice what weaknesses I possess, right? So can I do it through my strengths? And I think he did a great job. One suggestion I have, at the end of the talk, don't ever say thank you all, because in these meetings, the audience learns a lot from your presentation. So you should, they should be thankful to you, strictly speaking. Every speaker, I find that some of the speakers saying thank you at the end of the speech. Never conclude your talk with thank you, because outside outside meetings, people always end it up with saying thank you, because they don't know how to end it. Now, if you are a real good communicator, you will really freeze the ending. You will know exactly what I'm going to say in the end. And people should realize that you have come to the end of your talk. When you say thank you, of course you are ending the talk, but that is everybody does that. But how differently you do it is what is to be displayed here. That is what is to be learned through the processes that we employ in these meetings. I think he did a great job. We should give him a fantastic talk, because it is the Sergeant at Arms who actually sets the ball rolling. He is the one who sets the momentum, gives a lot of fillip, a lot of energy to the meeting. And and the more I listen to him, the more I get floored by whatever he says, because I think he does a lot of research before he comes over here. And if you ought to become good speakers, you too have to do the same. You have to do a lot of research on what you are talking. It doesn't matter what you talk about. It doesn't really matter. Okay, you don't have to talk on the theme as speakers. Of course, as Sergeant at Arms and President, they'll have to address the topic of the theme of the day. But others don't have to. So whatever subject you have chosen, you do a lot of research, your own experiences, incorporate that in your presentation. It becomes much more meaningful. People will enjoy it. In fact, I enjoyed all your talks today. Every one of you, the way Jagdish spoke, the way Jay Kumari spoke, beautifully well. So nicely. They talked in such simple language with such clarity that all of us can do it. It shows that all of us can do it. We do it outside. Why can't we do it from the stage? So that you get noticed. Why do you have to speak from the stage? You have to get noticed. It's only when you get noticed you get to succeed in life. Right? Otherwise no one will ever notice you. In the outside world, millions of people walk on the street. Who gets noticed? It's the person who is able to communicate effectively and appropriately. Right? This is the area this is the place where you have to learn and display it in the outside. I think you're doing a great job. And then he presented the president to us, Sagar, Basyal, and Sagar also. His opening, if you notice his opening statement, he said it very mildly, but it's a very beautiful statement. I don't know how many of you noticed it. Oh, remember, whenever you speak to an audience, the opening and conclusion had to be frozen before you stand in front of an audience. These are the two things that you need to freeze. As I started off, when I came on the stage now today, you know what I opened with. So I had frozen it. Come what may, I'm not going to change that. Right? So you have to freeze the opening and conclusion. What you say in between, people will buy it after that. Right? Once you get these two things blocked, other things people will buy it unconsciously or consciously. So you don't have to worry much about it. I think, you know what he said? He said, everything is possible. He said it very mildly, but imagine if he had said that with power. Everything is possible. The impossible takes a little longer. How many of you got that message? Very few got that message, because he said it so, softly. It's a statement which should be uttered with power. Impossible takes a little longer. That means everything is possible. Nothing is impossible in this world. What a beautiful statement. A lovely opening, and he, enunciated, he talked alongside, he kept on giving us a swimming example, how he did well, and he also gave us the eagle example, which told us that pushing the envelope, which actually was in line with the theme of the day. Right? So beautifully done. The giraffe also, I am told, kicks its little one to get up the moment it lays the young one. The moment the young one comes out of the giraffe's tummy, I believe it kicks the young one to stand up. Do you believe that? A mother doing that? It kicks, and it kicks as long as it does not stand up. And the young one stands up immediately. The moment it comes out into the world, it stands immediately. And that's what the eagle also does. It pushes the young one. So unless you push your limits, you don't know what you're capable of. How do you know what you can do? Unless you really try, push yourself, try, right? So I think beautiful theme for the day, a wonderful address, and he also concluded it beautifully well. I don't know how many of you got that conclusion as well. Very few of you, notice The opening. These are things which you have to notice whenever someone is speaking. What is that message I can take home? Otherwise we are wasting our time, right? I've got this message, I've written them, I'm going to take this home. I hear this very often everywhere, but still I take it back home because every time I hear, it gets reinforced in my own system. My own DNA comes to believe that this is what is the truth. And when your DNA believes that, your body automatically moves in that direction. You automatically become what you see yourself as. Right? And you know what he said? The only limit in our life is the limit we set ourselves. Right? The only limit, all other limits are set by others. They say you have to run only 100 meters. That is set by others. You have to get 90%, set by others. The only limit actually you set for yourself is what you believe. 100 is not the closing point. I am going to go beyond 100% if possible. That should be our intention, our passion in life. I should go beyond pushing the envelope, not even pushing the envelope, beyond that. I should, not even the extra mile. Can I go beyond the extra mile? So that is what we learn from this. Can we ask you to give Great. And then Mr. Sisir came on, he talked about, he read the minutes beautifully of the previous meeting. Can you see how fast he read? He did not waste time, right? Because minutes is what happened the last time. You're just telling us, reminding us what exactly happened, and he did it very fast. Some of us are not so fast in reading. I think it has to be read as a matter of regularity, but that doesn't mean we should spend much time on that. Right? We should know exactly. And he read it very beautifully fast. How many of you noticed that? Of course, it doesn't mean that all of you should read it that fast. You should read it faster enough and with clarity. And he did, I think I followed everything that he said, beautifully read out, so I liked the speed with which he read. So shall we give him a round of applause? He introduced the MC, that is where we should make a difference. The secretary doesn't introduce the MC, it is the president. The president is the CEO of the organization, of any organization. So he is the one who has the entire control of the meeting. Right? The VP Education no doubt decides the educational aspect of the meeting. In this case, I believe Mr. Yagya Gair is the VP Education. He decides the quality of the meetings, the education that we learn. But the president is the one who is overall in charge. So he should have introduced the MC. It is your task to introduce the MC. You call the secretary to read the minutes. After he completes reading the minutes, then you take charge back and then introduce the MC. It is your prerogative. Don't give it to somebody else, right? When he is the president, he can do it, no doubt. Because one more thing you should learn is in these meetings, the charge keeps, being transferred from committee of officers keeps changing every 6 months, or one year. I don't know. Every 6 months is it? Every 6 months or 1 year, the committee of officers change. So it is likely that he may become the president next time, and he can introduce the MC himself. What he did today. So right, the president's prerogative to introduce the MC. And remember, I think when you introduce the MC, introduction of a person also is an art. It is an art that we ought to learn, right? It is there in maybe in your manuals, I don't know how many of you. And before you present the speakers, the regular speakers, you should also tell the objectives of that project. What is the objectives of the project? So you have to, so that the audience gets to know what that speech is trying to attain. What is the purpose of that speech? Like today in the prepared speech session, we had three speeches, right? 3 speeches. The first one was Jagdish, and then, of course, I'll come to the MC later. First one was Jagdish. Jagdish was superb, actually. There was no, you should fix the individual evaluators also. One thing is, every speech is individually evaluated. So someone else gets an opportunity to evaluate that speech. Now evaluation is also an art. It is an art that you ought to learn. Not, you must be able to tell what is the shortcoming in the speech without offending the speaker. You are not actually evaluating the speaker, you are evaluating the speech, not the person. We are not trying to find fault with the person, we are trying to find fault with the lack in the presentation. What is lacking? Right? Based on the objectives again. Based on the objectives. Every speech presentation has an objective, and these objectives have to be read in the beginning. Objectives have to be read, and then at the end of that, the individual evaluator will tell the speaker in particular where he needs to improve. What are the areas he needs to improve? What are the areas he has done well? I think, since there are no individual evaluators today, I loved is there? You're doing Jagdish? Okay. Can I ask Sisir to make his observations, please, about Jagdish's presentation, and then I'll make my own observations.
He started with the story on the first, which was good. In the speeches, he related with the own story of CA, I think, which might have get interested with the audience. He was little nervous in the beginning, but he overcome of that with the flow of the speech. Little rush in the beginning also. He can work on the voice modulation. He has the same speech, same pitch.
Thank you. Thank you. I concur with the last thing. I concur with whatever he said, but the last one in particular, because he said, you had a fantastic talk in place. You have, structured it so beautifully well. The way he started was really good. The way he said, why should I stick? Right? He started out with that. Why should I stick? That's not my job. I am a CS student. Why should I do that? Right? Beautifully he led, using that anecdote, he led us into the topic. Can you see how well he did that? He used some incident to lead the audience into the topic. He was talking about RFID, radio frequency, right? Identification. And he also told us very clearly through the way many of us must have traveled by metro, right? So we know what we do there. Even I didn't know. The beautiful way he explained, I understood. How is it able to calculate what token I have bought for? What is the distance for which I have bought from where I'm logging in and where I'm getting out? How does the machine or the system know that I have given the right amount, I have paid the right amount? And he beautifully explained, saying that once that identifies you, where you have boarded the train, metro, and where you're going to get down, and it calculates automatically. It's all fed into the system, right? Very beautifully done. Yeah, he explained it with that Hilton hotel example that he worked for. I believe during the break I asked him whether it's really true, whether it was made up. Some of us who are very good at speaking, we can even make up pop and bull stories and then tell the audiences. But I believe it is really true. He really did that, right? It takes guts to tell somebody, that, especially when you're going to learn something, when you're on training, to tell somebody that's not my job, right? A person who really wants to learn, he will not say that. He will initially he will succumb to whatever is being said. Later he'll show up his real, nature. But in the first place he did that. It's really great. And then the way he led us through all that, RFID was wonderful examples, lovely examples. And then in the end again he said thank you. Don't say thank you again. Very good talk. Language also was good enough, because there were a few grammatical errors that the grammarian will tell us where the grammatical errors lie. Only suggestion I have for you is energy. Because if you had talked that kind of talk with a lot of energy, imagine all these people will say, when am I going to talk like Jagdish? Yes, that's the kind. What a lovely flow, how you put all that together is simply great. Marvelous actually, marvelous presentation. But like your evaluator said, all through the same tone. There must be passion in what you're saying. It is your talk, it is your life, what you experience. No one has experienced. How should you say it? right? With a lot of guts, but lovely talk. It won't, anyway, it will not take away credit from what you made. So let's give a round of applause. The next one was Kapil Bhatt, Mr. Kapil Bhatt from Nepal, and I never knew that you had to go to a different country to buy fruits and vegetables. That's what I learned from his talk. So his individuality again is Sisir. So can I have your observations, please?
Hands were back in the starting. If you see, the hands were back, and few times the hands were closed. You were playing and shaking with your hand like this, which can be avoided through practice, and which distract the audience also, which will not capture. So you're moving back and ahead while speaking. This way you are doing. You can avoid that. The eye contact, a few times you're looking down, which you can flow with the right side to left or from the left side to right side. If you find difficult, you can work on voice modulation. Same, the pitch was same. Speech was well prepared. More practice can do more better.
Yeah. Good. Very good individual evaluation. I also totally concur with what he said. I mean, that is nervousness. Initially, it happens to all of us. I mean, we don't know where to keep these hands. So we'll either keep it behind, some of us keep it in our pocket, some of us fold it like this. Okay, don't worry about it initially. This is your first talk, first time you're addressing an audience. Very well done. You told us beautifully well how you used your cousin's example to inspire your parents to take your path. That was a good one. That is the best way to sell. If you want to sell yourself, you should learn something from his presentation. Right? He used his cousin's example to tell his parents to see that they allow him to pursue what he wants to. And he did that. He succeeded in that. That is true selling. Right? And that is what we are doing through our communication. Remember that. And when you're talking to audiences, those are examples which you should use to propagate your message. And I think he did very well there. And he also talked about Delhi, and I know there may be people from Delhi here, but I know how indifferent Delhiites are. Because I've had the experience, I've gone enough number of times to Delhi, and there's a foreign diplomat has beautifully, summarized Delhi in a lot of words, but I don't want to utter them here. A foreign diplomat, it was printed, Delhi, he has a totally different opinion about Delhi, what Delhi is. And I totally concur with you as far as Delhiites are concerned. No offense meant to that individual who hails from Delhi. There are good people also. I mean, every rule has an exception, right? In Bangalore, normally everybody is conducive, friendly and understanding, and they love to speak to you. Very rarely you will find people with long faces. But in Delhi, most of them are with long faces. Even if you ask them, no one will address your concern. So you have to address your own concern through your communication. And in Delhi, it's all the more required. Communication is all the more required to get to the place that you want to get to. Right? And this is where you have to learn that communication. Of course, no offense meant as far as Delhi is concerned. It's a capital city. I know over the centuries it has been the capital city. Love for the place still remains. Especially Chanakyapuri, where all these foreign embassies are there. Very nice talk. And somewhere during the talk you said, I'm not better. Remember? You said, I'm not better. I'm better at communication. Never ever tell an audience that you're not good. Right? You're actually belittling your own confidence. One is you're belittling your own confidence. Another is you're putting yourself down in front of an audience. Why do you have to tell them what is going to be evident as you keep talking? Right? If I'm not better, they'll come to know anyway. Why should I tell them? Make it all the more true. Let them think. It may be right, may not be right. Right? Let them feel, I'm not better or I'm really good. So let them leave it to their, good wisdom. Don't ever apologize in front of an audience. Don't ever tell an audience I do not know. Don't ever tell anything that belittles you in front of an audience. Because here you want to grow in confidence. You want to become that communicator who people will look up to. Right? And why should you tell them? And even if you don't tell them, they'll come to know anyway. So So why should you tell them at all? Right? So never apologize. And even if your legs are shaking, let them keep shaking. Your purpose is, why are you here? To continue to talk. So the day you continue to talk while your legs are shaking, that day you become successful. But don't let the others know, because they may be shaking inside your pants. No one will know. Right? So the next speech was presented by Ms. Jay Kumari. Any evaluations? Oh, very good. We have they are evaluating her individually.
Miss Jaya Kumari, she is a regular member of our forum. So the first day when you saw her and today, you can see a tremendous change. Like she has improved a lot. Like this forum had taught her a lot, and it took her 16th meeting. And today also I can say that she could have done better. So you have to keep coming to the forum. That is the message we can get from our talk. Coming to our talk, like always one thing I find in your talk is there always lacks opening body and conclusion, this thing. Because he concludes multiple times. You say, okay, I'll conclude, then again you catch back the point. So that is one thing you have to, like Mr. Ramlal sir told, opening and conclusion at least should be phrased. Body you can zigzag, up and down can happen. That is the major thing which you have to work on. And the little more bit of practice. And that nervousness, somehow you have to fear it away. Think these people are not people, think them as dolls or something. Treat them as statues or something. Just talk confidently. That is one thing I could recommend. Now while I at her, today she used a beautiful rhetorical device in her speech. Earthquake, she connected earthquake to her sister. So that was a wonderful thing in a speech. So this is one learning point we can do. It's a rhetorical device. It's called something like maybe a metaphor or something. I also have to do some research on that. Then there are a few grammatical things which could have been observed, like can put, some words would have been could have given. Can put could have been could. Then took my name correctly, pronounced my name correctly or spelled my name correctly. That much only. For the age you mentioned, that much only, that is not required. Or I was that little, you could have just say like she was I was 12 or something is what you were trying to tell, and that much only was the thing that was not required. Overall a wonderful talk. There is still a room for improvement.
Thank you, Mr. Yanja Gair. I think that was a lovely talk, the way she narrated the entire story from her childhood till now, right? And the language she used was very simple, very narrative, very understandable, and we all loved the presentation. What I liked most was the opening. She said, "Have you ever seen God?" Right? I was wondering, what's she going to discuss about God? Then suddenly said, "I have seen," and many of you said, "No, I have seen," and she's talking about her parents. Right? That's the beauty of an opening. Can you see how beautifully you can open?
Yes, yes.
How you can get the attention of the audience? All of us were with her when she said, "Have you ever seen God?" We were wondering whether she was going to talk about God. She spoke beautifully. She compared her sister to earthquake, and she compared herself to be a Jwalamukhi and all that. But then I didn't see that Jwalamukhi, presentation. She spoke very smoothly, very lovely voice, but then you need to put a little more power behind what you said. Whatever that Jwalamukhi you exhibit at home, should exhibit here. If you want to be a renowned speaker, remember that. You spoke beautifully well, no doubt. I don't discount that. There were a lot of ahs that you have to eliminate. If you don't know what to say, don't say ah. Just keep quiet. And then start off with your next sentence. That plastic incident also is very good. Many of us are used to such pranks when we were young, right? We can all recall what pranks we did when we were young. And through your presentation, I could also recall some of mine. Excellent conclusion, but then as the individual evaluator said, you moved from one conclusion to another. Once you say the last thing, never ever go over it again. The last thing said, simply walk off the stage. Because people should still long to hear you. That is the stage. That is the time you should leave the stage. People should still want to listen to you. If you leave the stage at that time, every time they will want to listen. You have to make it a point to see that once I conclude, nothing more. Anything you say after that, it dilutes the entire impact that you created along the process. Okay? So after the and also you quoted that beautifully well in the end, but you know how you conclude is something like that. Conclusions don't end like something like that. When you know the exact meaning of what you said in the end, you said some quotation, you have to clearly tell them and tell them that is final, nothing else is right. Something else may be right really, but when you talk, you are the authority. Right or wrong, whatever you say is right. So you should show that in your presentation. So it's all presentation skills ultimately. That's what wins. I think you did a great job. Remove that R's and all that. Like you said, if you do a little more practice, those R's will automatically disappear. And then we move to Mr. Cecil Rizal, right? I wrote it Cecil Rizal, so I wanted to pronounce his name. Some of these Nepali names, I mean, I know only half of them. I want to know the full names, so I've written it down Cecil Rizal, right? So I want to pronounce them correctly also. Sagar Basyal, correct. And then Yagya Gaire. So I used to say Gair because
foreign. Because he's a foreigner.
Because he's a foreigner anyway to us. But Nepalis are not foreigners. Nepalis are Indians. For your information, I have gone into Nepal without any passport. You can simply walk into Nepal and walk out of Nepal with your own rupees. I do not know if this same situation exists now. I did that somewhere in 1980, quite long back, right? So today I do not know what is the situation, whether we have to carry a passport to get into Nepal. I simply walked in, walked out. I use the same rupees. I used to get change back in their currency if I pay Indian rupees.
But now it is difficult.
Now it is difficult. See, I used to get that so easy it was getting into and I can always call I'm a foreign return guy. I would have simply walked into Nepal. Yeah, that's the first foreign country that I ever visited. In fact, I mean, nice people, and that's more a Hindu country than probably India is. If you go there, you will find that they follow more of these Hindu systems than we see in and around in India. I think the subjects that he brought out was simply beautiful. Chicken biryani, mutton biryani, right? Straight away. Awesome. What does the speaker have to say? Should he eat chicken biryani or mutton biryani? Or should he, prepare or should he treat us? He doesn't know what to say. Simply chicken biryani, mutton biryani. What to do with it? He should that was a good one, the way he started off. And then child is the father of man. Of course, it got Yagya out of,
yes, I started.
Right? Child is the father. It is said psychologically that child is the father. But Yagya, of course, beautifully overrun the story and said that the child incidentally becomes the man and becomes the father. Right? Biologically, use Darwin's theory of evolution to make him child becoming man and then evolving. So that was a good one. It doesn't really marriage and this subject, marriage bliss or disaster, asking a person who is not married is it is asking for the wrong cup of tea, right? Tea with salt. So he doesn't know what is marriage. You're asking him whether disaster or a boon or bane. How does he know? So ask a married man, he'll tell you very clearly, undoubtedly, whether it's a disaster or a bliss, right? It can be, it's more of a disaster than bliss. Of course, there are some blissful characters, I really envy them. I actually adore them also. Because people who I know this is going on. I know. No, yeah,
colleges in the private.
I adore people who say marriage is a bliss. I know it is being recorded. But I also know that many people have stated this in most of the forums, that married men are not really, what they set out for. They set out for happiness, but they are not really happy. Of course, I do not know the other side of the story. We'll have to ask ladies as well to know what their side of the story is. This is man's side. The world is man's world today. Whatever we hear, whatever we write, whatever we think, is in man's terms. Have we ever thought in terms of a woman? Very important. Because how do they see the world? We need to learn. That is what we learn. That is why Women's Day has been introduced. So that we come to know how they look at, and the way, Jaya Kumari beautifully brought out that, how she looks. They also look at things the way we look at things, the way men look at things, but a little differently. So we ought to know their sensations and sensibilities too, and respect them. And then beautiful topics. Selling a pen, he did beautifully. Selling a pen. Some suggestions I have for the onlookers: never ever disturb when a person is commenting on a particular topic. Never disturb. You may have your own opinion, but don't disturb his or her flow of thoughts. So when you do that, what happens is he loses track of what he's saying. So these are general rules. One is that when someone is talking, don't get into the talk, so that you don't disturb his flow of thoughts, right? Either it's a prepared speech or butterfly session. We should never interfere. That is one thing. It's okay. You can laugh, but then never interfere. Never give your opinion. That is one thing I noticed. And no movement when someone is speaking. When someone is on the stage, please do not move around. We should respect the speaker. Whatever you want to do should be done before the start of the meeting, or if at all there's an emergency that you need to move, wait for the applause, because every speech ends with an applause, right? During the applause time you can move. During the applause time. So that is one thing I noticed, and I also noticed some of the discussions were happening while speakers were presenting their talks. Some discussions were happening. I could hear from the back. So what happens? It disturbs the speaker again. So you should respect this. These are things. They'll make you a professional organization. You want to be a professional. You're a professional as such. You want CA speakers, SICASA forum also to be professional. You have to incorporate these guidelines. And don't ever say thanks in the end. Discussion, that is over, and then do not disturb speaking while, right? That's all. And another thing is, when someone is asks you to come to the stage, address that person, and then get on with your topic. So if the MC introduces me, I'll say Mr. MC, and then address the audience. Mr. MC, fellow speakers, this is what I'm going to talk about. Or if the sergeant, only the sergeant at arms we don't address. President, when President is introducing the MC will say, Mr. President, fellow speakers, and so it's a professional way. You build all this into your curriculum. No doubt it has been a splendid meeting. No doubt it has been one wonderful meeting. These things will make it even more special, right? I think I'm done with my evaluation, but I have my assignees who are going to complete the rest of it. First, I think I'll take the timer's opinion. Varsha, can you give it from there? What does the time take?
Exceptions.
Yeah, exceptions only.
Mr. Jagdish took a long time. It was the time, prepared speech time was given of 7 minutes, and he took 8 minutes 36 seconds. And next, in prepared speech, Kapil took less, he was okay, he took 5 minutes 35 seconds. And Jay Kumari, even she logged the time, she took 7 minutes 50 seconds. Then the butterfly speakers, the least time taken was Dipendra, he took only 25 seconds. And next is Balaji, took only 43 seconds. And Mr. Mahesh and Ms. Shweta, they both took 1 minute, and rest all were good.
Thank you for your observations. Shall we give her a round of applause? I have the grammarian Yadya Gare, please. Your observations.
Thank you, sir. As a grammarian, I have tried to do my best to note out few of the good uses of words as well as few common grammatical errors. So when we come, I'll just tell without the person's name, not an issue. So word drowned or something came on the talk. It could have been drowned. I was drowned or something like that. Then forcing me could have been forced me.
finally is a filler. Better avoid that filler. You have swim is you swam. Small eagles could have been a eagle child or something, maybe another appropriate term. The first time could have been a first day, right from the first day. In Jagdish, he did very good actually. There are not much of an issue except for that milk thing. Hot the milk was the term that came out. It is boil the milk. Then right, we try to include informal thing like that. This is one thing which I observe. We are very informal when we tell right or this is something no, this is something right. Instead of that, there are something called I don't know what they are called, but there are some words which you can use. Isn't it? And isn't that? And it? So that right could have been isn't it or something like that. I'll just conclude again. Whenever you are in a speech, don't just you ignore the timer. Like timer's role is to keep that red card, or as for that any other card also in the year for as long as you conclude. So you ignore them and you have to focus on concluding as soon as possible. So emerging technologies, a good use of word I could say. Insisting phrase could have been little good. ODR is a good word which we have seen in use today. Failed badly, which if failed is more than enough, I think is again a filler not required in my speech. We shouldn't limit to us. We shouldn't limit to us could have been. We shouldn't
limit ourselves.
Limit ourselves. So assist is insist actually. Assisted me, not insisted me to come and wake up. Foundation, infrastructures are all the good uses of words we have seen. So could have been pronounced in a little effective manner. Are so much vehicle in Bangalore. There are many vehicles in Bangalore. So good environmental is a good environment. Let's take a situation. That itself, a situation was given actually. There was not much. This is fine. If motivational speech means, it is also fine. I think better your employees don't have a union. I hope your company doesn't have an employees union. Being in marketing could have been as a marketer or as a salesman, as a salesperson. I would say diversity. Diversity is another good word which we saw, which we heard today. What is that? I am lagging. There was a repetition, maybe most likely because of nervousness that will go away in just one time. I paint blue. I would paint blue, or I would paint green, yellow, whatever for that matter. Evolve is again another word which I have noted down. Head and shoulders above the crowd. Awesome phrase awesome use of phrase. Out, cultivate. Out is used for should, and whenever we speak, it gives you more power than should. Should we keep on hearing it? So out is a good replacement. Cultivate, shred, innovation, incorporate, walking the extra mile, belittling, renounce, dilutes are all the good uses of words and phrases which you can see today, which you can take away from today's session. That's all. Over to Mr. Bengal.
Thank you, Mr. Edgar Gare. I have one suggestion as a grammarian. Please limit your observations only to prepared speakers, because they come with prepared script. They should be sure that there are no grammatical errors. Opinion, those who are talking on a topic, they are likely to make mistakes because they are scared in the first place to talk. One is, I do not know what the subject is. Another is, I am not good at the language. And then you expect me to find grammar also to be correct. How does it happen? How can all these three things fall in place? They can fall in place provided I speak on a regular basis. So let's limit our grammatical errors only to prepared speakers. They are not supposed to make mistakes. President makes a mistake, you can notice. Prepared speakers makes a mistake, you can notice, because they have come prepared. So when they come prepared, they should not make errors, grammatical errors. But people who are not prepared, they are likely to make errors, and you should allow that freedom. That is when I'll improve my communication, right? If you're going to find fault, as an opinion giver, if you're going to find a mistake in my presentation, then I'll stop talking completely, correct? I'm talking about newcomers. Newcomers, no, they'll have that inhibition. So allow them the freedom to speak freely, because in fact Malashri, one of your members and another person asked me, how can they see both of them have the same concern? Why am I talking so long? It's just I'm trying to address their concern. Their concern is she's good at English. She has the command of English, whereas that person says he doesn't have the command of English. But both of them have the same fear. The fear is they are not able to communicate. When a person has good English, why is she not able to communicate? When a person doesn't have English, why is he not able to communicate? It is not that, it is not the grammar, it is not the language. What is the cause is the fear that erupts from inside, fear of the audience. That you have to get rid of. And that you can get rid of when you speak on a regular basis. Correct? Okay. How do you learn swimming? I am scared of water. Can I get in water if I am scared? I have to dive enough number of times so that I fall in love with water. Speak enough number of times so that you fall in love with your speaking. Others need not. You fall in love with what you are saying, right? This is what both of you should bring. Don't worry about grammar. Last. It is grammarian is there to take care. Don't worry about that. Use, fire. Whatever you want to say, see, look at him. Whatever he wants to say, he says. Just fire. Don't bother. Grammar is for the grammarian. Grammarian takes care of that. It is his role. Why should I worry about grammar, right? My purpose is communicating. Whatever is burning inside me, I'll throw it out. It's for you to take it or leave it. Right? You have given me a chance to speak. So I'll speak. Better listen. Correct? Grammarian is there to take care of that. Others are there to take care of the rest of the things. So let me, be outspoken. That's the word. Today's word. Be outspoken. Doesn't matter. Wherever you are, express your views. Simply express your views with a lot of authority. Right or wrong does not really matter. In a table topic session, it doesn't matter whether you're saying, talking the right thing or the wrong thing. What matters is how well you're communicating. Ultimately, it is for the audience. They'll say, okay, he simply said something. That is their problem. You asked me to say, I said it, right? Why did you ask me in the first place? Tell me that. So allow me to say what I want to say. Correct? Beautiful. Okay, now we have the listener's role. Keep it short. You can ask her. And one more thing is, as a listener, she should have told us what her role is. That was said by somebody else. So my role, I should know what exactly my role is, and I should be able to communicate that to the audience. Okay? This is what you have to learn. This has to be done before the meeting starts.
Okay. I will ask some questions to you. How listen you? How much you are listening to my topic? Okay. How many antennas in the hotel? 2. Right. Okay. Famous person coming from which place to the hotel?
Bangalore. Karnataka, Bangalore.
Right. Okay. Kapil Dev father's occupation?
Teacher.
Okay. How much he got the percentage in second PU?
80%.
It's good. Who is the first contest in the butterfly session? First.
Jagdish.
No.
Butterfly.
What is the topic of Yajna? It's good. What is the objective of the World Bank? Right. Native place of Mahesh. Native place of Mahesh. Right. Okay. Prasad wake up at what time?
9. Today 4. I am the winner.
Which color Komal would like to paint it?
White.
Two colors.
White and green.
Right.
Maintain silence.
Brother calling Jaya.
Joy.
Okay. our sister want to do? What our sister? Right. How many days she was staying in Bangalore for the first time?
15 days.
Good. Thank you for that.
I got 3 correct answers.
Wonderful session. You know why this is incorporated? It is because to test your listening skills. Most of us, we may be physically present there, actually mentally we are elsewhere. So to test your listening skills, listening is one of the important aspects to improve your communication. I think effective communication is entirely based on listening. I think she did a great job and you two did a great job in answering. And finally, I say that the MC did a wonderful job knitting the whole thing together. He called people, at the appropriate time and introduced them very well. Very well done, superb. I think you need to talk a little on the theme of today's, but of course you talked about success is not final and failure is not fatal. That was a good statement that you made. What counts is the courage to continue, right? So beautifully said. So all of you had wonderful statements. I loved especially today's meeting, and I learnt a lot. I take back home many messages. And one thing I would like to end with, what I began with. Remember, the ability to speak is a shortcut to distinction. It puts a person in the limelight and raises him or her head and shoulders above the crowd. Mr. MC.
Thank you, Ramral sir. It's always a pleasure to hear him. I listened to many speakers like Ravi Shankar, Rajneesh, and other gurus and all. And similarly, the way he speaks also inspires us, gives us more motivations. So, thank you so much again. And I want to call upon the stage our president for closing remark.
Thank you everyone for your participation today, and thank you Ramlal sir for your presence, for your valuable remarks, valuable suggestion for us to improve. And it is always, we always receive valuable remarks from you. And today meeting was a bit late, so I request everybody to be on time. Only 8 members were there when it was 8 AM. So please, I request everyone to be on time so that we can start our meeting on time as said by Ramlal sir. So that time is very important factor. It is not like other program. 8 AM means dot 8 AM will start. So today we are not able to do that because of less member who were present at 8 AM. So try to be present in exactly before 8 AM. Try to reach here. And even though the program was started late, but it went well. And today we had 3 prepared speeches and some butterfly speakers. And I welcome some new members who were late, so I welcome all of them to the SICASA Speakers Forum. And thank you for your participation. And for role players, before doing your role, please confirm that, make sure that you are aware of your role and you know everything what is to be done. You can always ask me, we can send you the link. It is available in WhatsApp group also. If you are not in WhatsApp, please send mail to me. So that is the thing to be done. And from next meeting onwards, before all the role players will meet before 15 minutes, and then we'll discuss about the meeting so that no disturbance will be there in between of meeting. So let's, I request all the, I'll take the names for next prepared speech, next meeting. So, okay, who want to be the table topic master for next meeting? Komala.
Officially close the meeting.
Okay. With this, I would like to conclude the meeting of